friends, and welcome to ArtzHub Online. So I am going to do this lesson for you today for free as a thank you. I have had so many wonderful connections with friends and family in the community and also all over the world, and I just appreciate you all so much, and I want to give back. So this one is for you guys. First of all, I still have some of these magnets, guys. So if you're new to ArtzHub, if you don't have a magnet, just have your parents email me or call me or something, and I will mail this to you with a personal thank you note. And please share this video, guys. This is one you can share, you can like it. Lots of people should get it, and please do that for me. And my magnets to you are another way to say thank you. So how does this work? I'm going to explain everything and I'm going to walk you through the steps. So first of all, I hope you have a piece of art paper. So art paper is thicker. It's usually from a sketch pad. It could be watercolor paper or multimedia paper. It could be sketch paper, but ultimately it's acid free. And what that means is that it won't crumble and turn yellow over time. It'll last a long time. It's usually thicker and sturdier as well, and good for lots of different art supplies. If you don't have that kind of paper, it's no big deal. You can just use regular printer paper. Now this paper is thinner and it will eventually crumble and turn yellow, and so your artwork won't last forever, but you can still have fun with it now. So if this is all you have, definitely use this anyway. I have this paper on the side here because I'm going to use it to test out my colors later. But I almost always draw on art paper so that my lessons and art projects will last a really long time. I also teach people how to draw with black permanent marker. So some people think this is kind of crazy, but the good news is there are no mistakes in art. So when you draw with a black Sharpie, there's no erasing, right? And I tell my students all the time, that's because this is a drawing lesson, not an erasing lesson. If you don't have a Sharpie, you can use something else that's black, like a nice black colored pencil. Notice it doesn't have any eraser. If you don't have a black colored pencil, you could just use a black ballpoint pen. Again, no eraser. But any of these will work, and if you have them, that's fine. If you don't have these, guys, remember, you should always just use whatever you have. If you have a different kind of pen, or if you have only a pencil, it's all good, guys. Any art you do is good for you. It's healthy, it's a great outlet, and it's just really fun. So no matter what, I want you to draw. So get your supplies, get ready, and come on back. Remember, you can start and stop this video at any time if you need more time to complete a step or go get whatever you need, okay? All right, guys, so I am going to be drawing on my art paper today. I've got my Sharpie ready, and so I am going to talk a little bit about what we're going to draw today. So let's look at a picture first of the real thing. Here it is. This is a turkey. So this is a male turkey. They are cousins with the peacock. You may or may not know that. They have the same fan-shaped tail. They puff up their tail when they want to impress the ladies. They have the same beautiful black and white stripes on their wings as well. So there's some similarities. They might look really different, but if you look closely, you'll see that they have some things that are kind of similar. Not all turkeys are this color. Sometimes they're this color. So I like to show people this one too. And I don't have a photograph of a rainbow turkey because that's imaginary. But you know what? You guys have great imaginations. And if you want a rainbow turkey, it would be real easy to turn this white turkey into a rainbow turkey. Just FYI. This is a nice illustration. I like this one. It shows the female turkey next to the male turkey. It's also a winter scene. So I am making this a fall drawing. But if you guys want this to be spring or summer or winter, that's fine too. All right, guys, so we are ready to get started. So we'll make sure you have your art paper, whatever you're going to draw with, and make sure your paper is horizontal, all right? I have this for me later. This is my scratch paper. I'm going to be using this to test colors later. But for now, we're going to go ahead and get started. So first things first, we're going to open up that Sharpie, put the cap on the back, and I have a little something on my paper, but it's okay. It'll get covered up. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to draw the eye of our turkey. And it's going to be right about here on the paper. So if you look at this paper, I'll put this away for now. If you look at this paper right about here, so just put your finger there. And then the first thing I want you to do is draw the top of the turkey's eye. Okay, great. So when I draw, you draw. And just know that everyone's drawing is different, and that's okay. Like I said, there's no mistakes in art. And you can always turn lines you don't like into lines you do like. That's called being a creative problem solver. So I did the turkey's eye. You see how I did that little black dot there? I left a white reflection mark. Now I'm going to do the bottom of the turkey's eye. So friends, when I draw, you draw, and just keep drawing with me, okay? So the thing that hangs down over the turkey's nose is called a wattle, which I think is so funny. Like, what a strange word for a turkey, for a flap of skin on a turkey's face. But it's called a wattle, and it looks a lot like a piece of bacon to me. So the wattle just kind of hangs down. I've put a few lines on it just to give it a little bit of texture. And now it's time to talk about the turkey's beak. So the beak on a turkey is underneath that wattle. So you have to use your imagination and draw the beak sticking out like that. See how I did that? Great. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and draw the top of our turkey's head, and it's a little bit lumpy. It's a little bit bumpy. They have a lot of wrinkles and lumps and bumps on their head. We're gonna draw the chin and the cheek now. See how I didn't connect it there? And by the way, if you did, it's totally fine. It's no problem. So that's the turkey's face. And what I want you to do is now think about the number 9. What I want you to do is come forward. You see how that looks like the number 9? And we're going to draw, that's the back. We're going to draw the front of the turkey's neck. It's a little bit longer. See how I made that a little longer? Good job, guys. Please take your time. Please stop and start this video if you need to. I'm always going to draw a little bit faster than you guys because I want to give you this example to look at. So we've got our turkey's head and neck, and remember, they are funky and they are lumpy and they are bumpy. Let's take a quick peek at this thing. See what I mean? Look at all that stuff, guys. So we're just going to go ahead and start giving this guy some wrinkles and lumps and bumps. You can give him a few stray hairs kind of sticking out in different directions. It's really fun to draw a turkey. And go ahead and add that texture. You can really, really give him a lot of texture today. Very good. All right, so the rest of the turkey is beautiful. Look at those feathers. Look how puffed up he is. He's amazing. So what I want you to do is take 2 fingers, okay, and place those 2 fingers right next to the neck. You see what I'm doing? And then I want you to draw a curving line like that. So 2 fingers next to the neck, draw a curving line. This is going to become part of the turkey's wing. So what I'd like you to do is just draw some curving lines like that. You got it. Maybe draw a couple more. They don't have to be exactly like mine. Every drawing is different every time, guys. So you might have 4 little feathers there. You might have 20, but ultimately it's all good. We're all unique in our own way. The next thing I'm going to do is draw this shape. It looks a little bit like a rectangle. And we're going to add some lines like this. So we're going to bring those lines down. So just know, friends, that every drawing is different. When I draw, you draw. Just take your time. I'm going to make the bottom of each one of these a little darker. That is just because I've wanted to. If you want to, go for it. If you don't, that's okay. I just think it looks cool. That's how each person's drawing becomes unique, because you're going to add little things to it as you go. And I'm also going to add a few little lines here. This is like sort of showing the texture of the feathers, just like we did the texture on the head and the neck. So these are just details, and details helped your drawing look more and more and more beautiful. So once you have that part of the wing done, we're going to do the long feathers, and I want you to take a minute. Again, look at the real thing. They look a lot like your fingers. You see that? So what I want you to do is use your fingers for inspiration, because they're right in front of you, right? You can spread them out, put them together. But what I want you to do is draw. See that? Looks a lot. Actually, it looks exactly like my finger. And the next one. And they don't have to be absolutely touching. They can be spread out a little bit, but just make them a little smaller as you go back like this. And there doesn't have to be 5 fingers, by the way. There's more than 5 feathers on a turkey. We're just using our hand as inspiration. You see how there's black and white stripes on those feathers? That's what it has in common with a peacock, which is so cool. So what I want you to do without scribbling, sometimes people get a little messy with this, is you want these to look kind of natural, not like stripes on a pair of socks or something. You want them to look kind of natural, but you don't want them to look super duper scribbly either. So it's kind of a fine line. You got to take your time and just go across like this. Make them a little bit irregular. Remember, this is something from nature. This is not plastic. It's not man-made. I mean, the drawing is made by you, but the turkey is made by nature. So we were trying to represent the way something looks by being mindful of the details. So keep it going, good, all the way. And there you go. See how cute that is? It's already adorable. All right, guys, so I keep looking back at this because I want you to notice other details. Do you see how puffed up this turkey's body is? He is trying really hard to impress this lady. And so his tail is a fan, but all the feathers on his entire body are puffed up. It's like he's wearing a giant puffer jacket. So we're going to go ahead and start on the front of the neck, and we're going to do a nice curve, and we're going to bump into the wing. So this is where I want you to make a nice fluffy curve. See how I kind of made those lines gently curve? Same thing here, fluffy curve. Some kids think this looks like a meatball. Some people think it looks like a cotton ball. I see both. So what I want you to do is just add a few lines, just a few lines here and there. Again, we're adding those details to show what's going on here. And this guy's puffed up. All right. It really does sort of look like a meatball. All right, guys. So there are 3 rows of feathers on a turkey tail. There's a row of these short feathers. There's a row of medium feathers. And there's a row of long feathers. So from the head to the wing, we're going to start with these little feathers. And I want you to notice they're a lot like the little feathers on the wing. But I want you just to add a couple rows of these little guys and just keep them small and cute. You can even add 3 rows if you're really inspired, like I'm going for it. But keep them really small, really cute. Yep, you got it. So the next row is a different shape. These feathers come out like this and they go back in. So I want you to notice how they're very different, right? If it helps you to think about a piece of pie, think about a piece of pie. This is where I'm going to grab my scratch paper. So do you know how a piece of pie is shaped like a wedge, right? This is the crust right here. And this is the top of the pie. So the turkey feather in the back is a lot like that. So just use your imagination. Imagine that these are pieces of pie. Bring those curves all the way down. You can have little, just like you did here, you can have little gaps if you want to. And then I want you to go the other way and bring it towards the turkey's head. So think about pie. I love pie, by the way. And bring those feathers around. So we're creating that fan, right? The fan shape. So just like we've done on all these other things, we're going to add some details. So the details on these medium feathers are like that. And then you can draw a line down the center of each medium feather. Yep. You guys are doing awesome. Just take your time. So, excuse me. Once you think about that, one of my students reminded me that pizza is also shaped like that, right? So the large feathers, if you thought about pie for the medium feathers, you may want to think about pizza for the large feathers. So yeah, I see what they're saying. So if you want this to look like pizza, right, think about larger, right? But instead of pepperoni, think about something else. So same concept, guys. We're just going to bring those around. These are nice and big. If you want to have a gap, you can. A gap in the feathers makes it just look sort of natural, and that is what we want, right? So bring it all the way around. So once you've got the large feathers, and I hope you're not drawing pepperoni on there, guys, but you know what? It's art. If you want to, you can. But I hope you're going to draw these borders and these lines on the large feathers, because what that does is it really helps to communicate turkey tail feathers instead of food. So it's good to think about food as a reference, but it's important to consider what you're trying to show people, what you're drawing as well, so they understand. All right, so our turkey's looking pretty awesome. What we need to do is give this guy a leg, and so, or 2. They have really big, like dinosaur-like feet, guys. They're big birds. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here where the wing touches the belly, And this first leg is going to come back, and that is the front and the back of the first leg. Okay, that's important. Then I want you to think about drawing the 3 toes in the front and the 1 toe in the back. Now guys, there's texture and detail on everything we draw, so go ahead. Let's give him some speckles, some wrinkles, some lumps, some bumps. Don't forget to give him some big old talons because he's a turkey. He's got them. So that's one leg, right? The other leg is a little bit forward. Same concept. You're going to be drawing the turkey's toes and going back up. So if you can't fit the other leg, it's no big deal. And by the way, if you can't fit either leg, it's also no big deal. Remember this example here where I showed you where this one went off the page? If you can't see the feet or the back of the tail, it's okay. It's no problem. It's all makes sense, and it'll look great. But the details matter, so if you can see the feet, make sure you put the details on both. That little guy needs a talon right there. All right, guys, so a few more details just because we can. We're going to go ahead and add some little lines on the end here. All of these are places to put colors. So we'll talk about that later when the time comes, but all these lines you're drawing with a Sharpie are going to be very bold. They're going to give you a great place to put color. And by the way, Sharpie does not bleed or mix with water-soluble supplies. So a marker is going to stay bright. Watercolor paint is going to stay bright. If you are drawing with something that is water-soluble, like a black Crayola marker, for example, it's okay, but you can't use anything water-soluble because it'll get all mixed up and funky, and you don't really want that, I don't think. I'm going to go ahead and add a little short line just because this is a day for details. It's so fun to add the details. If you don't want to add these details, of course, you don't have to. I'm going to do it on these guys. All right, guys, if you want to add any other details, you are welcome to. Details, let's look at some of these examples again. You see how I added this sort of chevron diamond pattern thing? If you want to, here's another example. I like this one. You can give him a hat. You know why this hat works? It's because it's black. So if you're going to add a hat to your turkey, make it black. Use the Sharpie. But other than that, I don't want you to make anything else black on this because if you draw with a black Sharpie and you color with a black Sharpie, you can no longer see the lines. And that sometimes is sort of counterproductive, meaning it's kind of sad if you draw and take time drawing something and all of a sudden you color it black with a Sharpie and you can't see it anymore. But if you want to cover it up like the hat, you can do that because, well, then it's going to cover it up. All right, guys. So it's time to think about the background. You can do whatever background you want. Let's do a quick review. If you want to do a border with a few fall leaves, that's fine. If you want it to be a farm, right, with a pond and grass and a barn, that's fine. If you want it to be a barn that's really close by, like see how much closer this one is? That's okay. It can be a turkey in the wilderness with his son. Remember, use a circle if you're going to do that. There's so many great examples. Or a farm far away and a sign. And last but not least, this one is hanging out near a house with a sign that says Durham. These are all options you have, and you can take any of them. If what I'm going to do now, guys, is I'm going to just do a quick background, and then I am going to keep it simple today because I want to focus really on the coloring. So I'm going to add a sign like this. And signs are so much fun because they give you an opportunity to write something on your drawing. But if you do a sign, make sure you put it in the ground. It is not a floating sign, right? And no, in our turkey, you might be able to fly, but the turkey's not floating either. So make sure you're adding some little details, like a little bit of grass, even if you don't do a super complicated background. You want to put a little bit of stuff on the ground to show that that turkey is on the ground. And so is this sign, by the way. So you're probably wondering what I'm going to say on my sign. I'm kind of wondering the same thing. Sometimes I just make it up at the last second. But what I'm going to do first is add a few little details. And I am going to write Chapel Hill. I spelled chapel almost wrong. But that's okay. I'm going to make it look good. There we go. So I'm going to add a little heart, and I am going to add a few more of those lines to kind of cover up some of those things I don't like. And voila, it looks good, right? So I'm going to do a few fall leaves. This is an example. If you want to, you can do the same thing. If you want to do something else, that is okay too. We've had such a beautiful fall that I hope you will add a few of these leaves, because it's fun and it makes it look very, very festive to have the fall leaves. You also don't have to do a super complicated background. You just add a few fall leaves and you're good to go. I'm going to add a few of them down here on the ground. And maybe another one over here. Things that also fall out of oak trees are acorns. They're kind of funny. But you can add a little acorn like this. You can add more grass. You could add a pumpkin. You could add whatever you like. Maybe there's a bird in the background. I'm going to keep it simple. I'm not going to add more stuff because I really want to focus on the turkey today and coloring. So I'm just adding a little bit more grass. And I think that's it for today, guys. Don't forget to sign your name, okay? So a lot of people like to sign their name like giant across the top, but please don't do that. You can always sign your name in the bottom corner. You can also sign it on the back. Now this happens to be really thick art paper, and so I could have signed it with a Sharpie on the back, but if you don't have really thick art paper, you should always use something else, like a pencil or, you know, something that will not go through. So if you are not going to sign it in the corner, then I want you to sign it on the back with some type of pencil, okay? That way it won't go through. All right, guys, I am going to move into time lapse now, and it's going to go fast. You do not have to color as fast as I do. The time lapse part of this is just to show you how it works. So it's going to go really, really fast, that part. And friends, please, if you want to, take a picture of yourself. We have your parents take a picture of you with your artwork. I would absolutely love to see what it's like for you to do this turkey. And please share it with your friends. Let everybody draw this if they want to. And make sure you contact me if you want a magnet. All right, guys, I'm going to go into time lapse, and we are going to add color to our turkeys. Here we go. So as you can see, I have worked on my turkey. It looks pretty cool. I had some fun with it. I want to make sure you guys think about testing your colors. Sometimes they're dry and you want to make sure you have a marker with lots of ink in it. Also, it's just nice to like go through your markers and make sure you have the ones you want before you start coloring. I tell my students that all the time. And it's just a really good habit to get into. That way you are moving along as quickly as you need to, but you're also not struggling to find the colors you're looking for. It just kind of helps you prepare for the lesson. Also, you probably saw that I got my rainbow colors out here, and it's just fun always to put rainbow colors into any art project. But you know, when you're celebrating like a holiday and you're just feeling really, really happy and thankful, sometimes it's nice just to, you know, add a rainbow element where there wouldn't normally be one, just for fun. That's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving break. And remember, if you wanted to write something on here like gobble gobble or something like that, this is your project. You can do that I mean, for example, I might as well go ahead and do it. So my turkey is saying gobble, gobble. And that really is it for today, guys. I hope you are doing well, and I will see you next time. Bye.